Hi there, YTPC. So I just thought I'd do this little video here. Um, I'm puffing away on my Savinelli 106 caramel line pipe, which I did actually did a little review of it a few years ago. Um, so I've had it for about 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years. I've been smoking it on and off. It's burnt in nicely. Beautiful pipe, still enjoying it. Absolutely fantastic smoker. I did a video on it before, so you've probably seen what I'm showing you here. Anyone who's seen the last video I did a while ago. Absolutely stunning, cracking pipe. I love this. It's a filter pipe, 9mm. Um, so basically I'm using these Peterson charcoal filters. They're pretty good actually, 9mm. Now, the one I've actually got in this pipe, I did have a smoke out of it before, so this is the second time I'm using this filter. And some people say you should replace the filter every smoke. Personally, I think you can probably get about 2, maybe 3 maximum out of it. I mean, I have known some people who say they can even get up to 4 smokes out of it. Obviously, after a certain amount of time, it's not going to do its job and soak up the moisture. But this is the second smoke I've had on the filter I've actually got in here. It seems pretty okay. Tastes nice. Hmm. I'm using my regular Condor tobacco, excuse me, which is generally what I smoke, I'd say 90–95% of the time, although I am actually going to get some different tobaccos. I've tried a few Petersons in the past. Which ones have I had from that brand? I think I had Nutty Cut once, that was quite nice. And University Flake, which, if I remember rightly, has got a slight plum sort of topping on it. So it keeps going out because I'm chatting and not puffing enough. I think Connoisseur's Choice as well I've tried, which was not too bad. Got nice tobacco. Luckily, I've actually got a Meerschaum bowl on one of my Falcons, so I can actually get away with trying different tobaccos in that particular pipe because Meerschaum doesn't really have the ghosting problem as these kind of briar pipes do. But in saying that, I'm not that bothered about the ghosting anyway. I mean, to me, it's not a big Yahoo thing. I mean, literally, I just have a few bowls of a different tobacco and then the flavour of that I see can come through. But I know some people really do worry a bit about ghosting, and some people actually like ghosting because it can create kind of unusual flavors. But if you want to taste the tobacco purely, then you don't really want a pipe that's ghosting all the time, or a pipe that has ghost, should I say. Now, the thing is, this, this particular tobacco, sorry, it just had a hot ember fall on me. This particular tobacco does actually ghost pipes. It's notorious for that. Well, I'm not bothered about that. Really nice flavour. I just love it. And of course, with my pipe, can't go wrong with some Guinness. Mm, that's lovely. So I've got a few pipes in my collection. I think I've done reviewed most of them. I don't have a massive collection, but I think I've probably got about 10 or 11, maybe 12 pipes. Some of them are the really cheap pipes as well, basket pipes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with some of these basket pipes. Some of them are actually quite good, and some of them can be really not so good. It's a bit of luck of the draw thing, I think, if you buy basket pipes. Certainly, a lot of beginners go for them. I remember years ago when I first started pipe smoking on and off, many years ago, I used to buy those mainly because it was all I could afford. But I did actually have some very good basket pipes. There was one, I can't remember who made it, but all it said was made in Malta on it, and actually it was a really nice pipe. I really liked it. That was a basket pipe. I think I only paid about £2 for it, £3. I had that for several years, that little pipe. Really nice. I named it the Maltese because it was made in Malta. It actually had quite a long stem on it, a finished shank, and only a tiny bowl. The bowl wasn't very big, but it was a nice smoker. It always reminded me of an artist sort of pipe. I don't know why, but every time I picked it up, I could just imagine someone painting an oil painting, possibly with that in their mouth. Kind of suited that sort of character. Which occasionally I do get asked about that. Do pipes, suit certain types of characters? And I think is a bit yes and no on that. I think in some degree, yes. Like other videos have mentioned, the pipe is a bit like buying a hat. You want the one that kind of suits your profile. But in saying that, there's no set rule. There's nothing to say, well, you can't smoke a cherry wood pipe if you're not a lumberjack, or you can't smoke a falcon pipe unless you're some sort of engineer. That's not really the case. But there are certain pipes that do seem to fit with certain profiles. I mean, I got several different styles of pipes. Some I feel more comfortable with this one. I mean, this particular one, to be honest, this reminds me more of a sort of pipe. Yeah, I'd probably be sat out in a beer garden having, or possibly in a coffee shop, sat outside having a nice cup of coffee and using this one. Whereas on the other hand, I've got a Falcon where I'd probably be using that for everyday sort of use. If I'm, doing a bit of work or something, I might possibly use that one. So I guess certain pipes you would use in certain situations, depending on what you're doing. But the reality is there isn't really a set format to say, well, this shape you've got to have and that shape you can't have. You can actually have any shape you like. It's what you feel comfortable with. I even got a corn cob actually. I don't really use that one very often now, but I have got a cob. I'm just looking at what I got there in my racks. Who reasons? Got something called a Peterson Writer. Well, I think that's what it's named. I'll show you that one day. It's like quite a large bowl Peterson, but it's actually got a flat bottom on it. So the idea is you can stand it up. I think that's when he named it the Peterson Writer pipe, because if you're writing or doing something like that, you can quickly put it down and it stands itself up. I do like those. But as a whole, there isn't a set rule to say, well, this sort of pipe's going to suit you and that's not. It really is what you feel comfortable with. And also, I've had a few cherry wood pipes in my time. One thing I'll say about cherry wood, they are actually quite nice pipes. They do produce a nice taste. But when I used one, it was many years ago, so I wasn't as experienced with it. And I think the bowl got a little bit too hot and it actually popped like a bang. I mean, it didn't like completely blow up and I was just left with a stem in my mouth. It wasn't quite that dramatic, but it did make quite a crack. It went bang. And I remember a load of it was quite funny in a way, but a load of embers came flying out the top, and it looked like a volcano when it happened. Boof, you know, scared me a bit at the time, so I didn't expect it. It kind of made me jump. The pipe was absolutely fine. I mean, there was no damage to it, but it's probably where I was just smoking it a little bit too hot, which is something you've got to avoid. Really, you don't want to be puffing on like a steam train. Now, as you can see, I've lit this pipe a few times, so if there's any new pipe smokers out there, don't worry if you've got to keep lighting your pipe. It's one of those things, especially if you're talking. You know, if I'm sat back just watching TV, it'll keep going and going and going. But there's no shame in relighting and relighting. It's not like, you know, you've got the cardio rule. It has to be lit constantly. It's not quite like that, really. The idea is just to enjoy it for the flavour and the relaxation and everything else about pipe smoking. Well, I'm enjoying this Savinelli. I absolutely love this little pipe. Mm. All right there, guys. Well, I'll just wrap this little video up. It was just, yeah, a video of me smoking my Savinelli. So, I will catch you all later. Take care. Bye for now.